Hey folks, Luxinda Swirl here. New day, new cup project. I'm actually revisiting something I just did recently in a video, but I'm going to do things a little differently this time. And what I mean by revisiting is I did a video recently where this was one of the products I used. I mixed a little with resin and I drizzled it on the cup and I hit it with a torch and it just produced the coolest effect. If you want to see that video, I'll link it below. And I will also link to the video where I saw it happen the first time somebody else did it, and that is a Clara Lawrence video. She's an amazing resin artist. This was also suggested to me in a comment by one of my wonderful viewers, Deborah Jo, who described it, but then when I saw it happen in Clara Lawrence's video, it's like, oh my God, I gotta try this. So we're gonna do it again, and before I get to this part, I wanted to take a cup. I have some of these, they're called Hoggdles, Hoggdles, I believe is how it's spelled. From the Stainless Steel Depot, I had purchased some for a custom order last year and I had a few left over, and I am not a huge fan of trying to do things with handles because they're kind of in the way, in my opinion. But I have these, so I figured, well, let's use one, and then that's one fewer I'll have to figure out what to do with. So I'm going to take this. It's a 20-ounce skinny, I believe, with a handle stuck on it. And I painted it white after I sanded it and washed it. Spray painted a couple layers of white flat paint on it. And now I'm going to put a bunch of color on it using my alcohol inks. And amazingly, I'm not using Woody's Goodies this time. Because, I should do something different for a change, right? So what I have here is a collection of Tim Holtz Ranger, Christy Taylor Creations, and one Resin. And they are all in the Aqua blue realm because that's the color I love most in the world, and that's what I want to do with this cup. And to get color on here, I'm not going to try the marbling effect. I might end up with something that looks like that, but I just want this color on here. If I drop it straight out of the bottle, I will get a bunch of drips and runs. So I thought, well, let's put it on with sponges instead. So I took a couple of these makeup sponges, and I have 6 bottles, so I made myself 6 smaller sponges like that. And I'm basically just going to, put color on a sponge and dab it on the cup. So here we go. So now I'm going to let this dry thoroughly. I will spray it with a layer or 2 of Rust-Oleum Clear Matte Spray. And then I will bring you back because we're going to put resin on it and we are going to do our thing with that gold mica and a torch. Woohoo! So stay tuned. Hey, we're back. Okay, so this is dried and has been sprayed a couple times with a layer or a couple layers of Rust-Oleum 2X matte clear spray, so it's sealed on there. Some people don't even seal their alcohol inks, they go straight to epoxy, but you know, I'm an oversealer. So mine's sealed. I'm gonna mix up some resin. I'm gonna use the KS Liquid Stone, and I'm probably gonna put in a little bit of my Marabou Rainbow Alcohol ink just for extra sparkle. And then I'm going to siphon off a couple milliliters, because you don't need much of this, as I'm learning as the more I use it. Couple milliliters of that resin, mix in a tiny bit of this, that will be the drizzle. I have a couple other mugs or cups going over here, so I'll use the rest of the resin for all the cups. And then we'll get the torch and we'll play. So sit back and enjoy the show. And we're back. All right, let's see how this turned out. It's pretty. It's not as stunningly gorgeous as I had hoped, but it's pretty. So I like the look of the alcohol inks under the gold. I love the gold. I love the wisps. Is it too plain? Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's a gorgeous base for a theme. It's not as stunning all by itself as I had hoped it would be. And that's not a problem. I think it looks really beautiful, but you know, here's how I'm going to embellish it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a saying and some graphics on it. I'm going to finish this cup in that way. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a decal on here. I'm going to put a saying on here. And I'm going to go with the assumption that the person who ends up with this is a right-handed person, which means the saying will go here. I will put graphics all the way around, so it's not necessarily locked into being for a righty only. I happen to be a lefty. I may use this cup myself. You never know. Not before I send it to anyone. I don't mean that. I mean, I may keep it for myself. All right, so here's what we're gonna put on it. Peel it off the backing paper. And I'm gonna taco my taco the transfer tape. Work from the middle out. Salty like the ocean calling me. Here's what I'm going to do now. Just sort of a finishing touch to see if I can push out any air bubbles that maybe I can't see with my bare and old eyes. I'll do this. And I will tack this down with UV resin and stick it out in the sunshine. But before I do that, I'm going to put some graphics on it. So we're going to turn this over. And I have these gorgeous seahorses. This is printable vinyl. This is the old kind. That is the old kind for me. I recently switched to a new printable vinyl that is glossy and shows more detail. This is not that. This is the kind I was using before, which is what I mean by the old style. But it works fine for these stickers. Some different things here I can use. Definitely want to use the starfish. Okay, salty like the ocean calling me. Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to, I talk about this a lot, but I haven't actually shown it in a while, so I'm going to put the UV resin on now. I do not do that over the printable vinyl because it makes funny marks on it. It's like it sinks in to the printable vinyl matte surface, and it looks like it's stained. Now the idea is not to put a lot on, the idea is to put just enough to basically tack everything down without getting runs and blobs of it everywhere. So just a little bit. I have discovered that I like to put way too much on and then I'm sorry. Okay. So just enough to make sure everything, all the edges are covered. This ensures it will not lift when I put the final full coat of, when I put the next coat of epoxy resin over the whole cup, there will not be any lifting of the vinyl because it will already be tacked down with UV resin. And I like the safety feature. You know, it's a CYA thing. I believe in oversealing, as you know, or as you may know if you watch my videos. I like to have everything sealed safely in place before I resin it or decal it or whatever I'm doing. Okay, so this goes out in the sunshine, and once that's cured up, I will spray the entire cup with Rust-Oleum 2X Clear Matte. That will seal all the other graphics on. And then it'll be time for a coat of resin. Probably won't bring you back, I might. Either way, I will be putting my Marabou Rainbow alcohol ink into the resin, putting it on. It'll be KS Liquid Stone because it just needs to cover everything, not give me a huge long working time. And then it'll be time for the big reveal. So stay tuned.